All right, viewers, welcome back to the Bronco Country Roundup. I'm Evan Stanford, joined by Carter Davis, Chase Glorfield, and our very own man on the blue, Chris Van Sickle, who captured that awesome intro footage. Stick around. Make sure you stick around to the end because we have some new outro footage captured right by Chris on the blue field in the last game. It is freaking sweet. So get us started today. We had an awesome game against Utah State that I didn't get to watch live, but don't worry, viewers, I had it spoiled for me by my mother. So that was great. I was out hiking. I saw bears. It was great. And then I watched the recording the next day to get myself caught up on an absolute walloping we put on Utah State. That was fun. It must have been amazing live, but it was fun watching the recording. But anyways, to get us started today, we've got some really cool recruiting news. I'm going to send it around the horn where everyone has got some thoughts on some of the new commits. Chris, would you like to get started? Tell us who committed to Boise State.
Yeah, so we'll start out with the guy's name I can pronounce, Taj Crutchfield. The 6'1", 180-pound cornerback out of Rancho Cucamonga.
I lived in Rancho Cucamonga for a while. Beautiful place. Sorry.
Is it? I've never been. I need to go, apparently. This kid has an impressive offer sheet. You know, that doesn't always mean a lot, but it's always cool to see. Offers from Arizona State, BYU, which I'm told that's where his father played. I couldn't agree more with thumbs down.
BYU.
Oh, nice. Anytime you can beat the father's alma mater or the player, that's always good. Also had offers from Louisville and Utah. I did watch some of his film today. He is a long, lanky corner. Is physical in the run game and sticks to his receiver's hip real well. I'm excited for this edition. So Taj Crutchfield, and then we'll go with our international commit, Daniil Streika. I'm doing my best here, Daniil. He's from Berlin, Germany.
Love it. I hope he's a metalhead.
Listen to Rammstein all the time.
Rammstein. It's the only German music I know.
And sorry, what position was he?
So he is listed as an interior offensive line. All his film is him playing left and right tackle, though. But playing in the German league, I think moving him to the interior is probably a good move for now. Maybe he can develop and move back outside, but all his film is playing left and right tackle, and he's impressive. I mean, anytime you got watch a recruit that's playing internationally, you always kind of have to question the talent he's going against. But I mean, he was a man amongst boys there.
He plays with the nasty mean streak.
I did that with Max Stieg, and I had to eat crow on that one. So let's not say that unless if we want to have clips about us in the future.
Well, I will be glad. I will eat crow all day. Trust me. Now I was going to bring up Max Stieg because I didn't think, just like Carter, that there was any way that Matt Stieg was going to play as a true freshman, and he did. So, you know, I'll happily eat that crow when it comes. But I bet he red shirts, but I'm super excited. He had some other offers as well, so we'll see when he arrives from across the pond.
And I was really hoping you would say he's like a defensive end, so we could have like Stieg on one side, him on the other side. And anytime they got a sack, you just play some of that German metal or maybe some of that like they love their like techno music or something. Just get like
techno metal, German techno metal.
Play some Du Hast.
Yeah, Du Hast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be down with that. But Chase, I believe you were covering our other commit.
Yeah, we got our Boise State got its second class of 26 commit this week as well, and it's a local kid, a legacy kid. It's LeGarry Mitchell. I think he's junior because his dad was also LeGarry Mitchell, played at Boise State. I'm looking at some stats here. 2000 to 2001 is when his dad played. Came out of Seattle to Breton High School there. Came to Boise. Had 68 total tackles over the 2 years he played. Legary Jr., he goes to Meridian High School. 6'2", 200. He's a junior. He looks long. He looks lanky. He's got a lot of wiggle. It'll be fun to see him out there at linebacker and let him pack on the pounds with some muscle and what he can become. He's probably not done growing. He's 6'2". Come to Boise State a couple inches taller, and he'll definitely be a little heavier as they pack on that muscle. So
that's exactly how you want to hear yourself described, though. Yeah. Long, lanky, and he has a lot of wiggle.
Has a lot of wiggle, you know.
I got a lot of jiggle, not so much wiggle.
Well, it's interesting because it's 6'2", 200.
I just started cracking up when you said that.
Well, you know. Well, that's like, we all have different body types, okay? We all have different body types.
I described Ashton Jeanty to my wife once, and I said, he's real thick. And she's like,
boy,
how much do you like Ashton Jeanty? I'm like, well, a lot, but not so much there. But
I mean, if there's a picture of him yesterday posing with a kid in the locker room, and the guy looks like he's flexing, and he's just sitting there just pointing, and it's like those are 22-inch pythons. Like,
yeah.
The man is strong. He's a thick boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry.
Isn't it weird that we as dudes are sitting here like talking about other dudes' bodies like this?
I have no shame about it.
No shame. What they do with the NFL Combine, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, most normal thing in the world.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's Monday.
It's cool to have 2 class of 26 commits already, though. I don't know how often that happens, especially at Boise State, to get guys that early.
Danielson's definitely been going ahead into the classes because we got Jackson Presley, and building off of him is going to be great for that class.
Well, he's helped the 25 class and 26 as we've talked about. It's fun to see that kind of these things domino and snowball like they have. So
absolutely.
Yep. And I'm going to toss this out for the whole group as a whole, because we offered a 27 quarterback, I believe, but that's kind of continuing that trend of like establishing these relationships earlier and earlier and earlier. And did anyone else see that? Is that true? Like he's a 27 kid.
I saw that. I didn't really look into him at all. I think Kevin posted about it on the board. But I do think it's legit. I do think Danielson and it just in general is going deeper into the classes. Kind of what Power 5 conference teams do. They're giving out offers to freshmen if they're good enough. So I think he's just following the trend.
Cale Snyder from Chandler, Arizona is his name.
Cale
Snyder.
There we go. As long as Danielson doesn't offer baby Gronk, I'm good.
I have him blocked. that stuff bugs the hell out of me.
I don't even know who that is, so sounds like I'm not missing
Chris. Don't worry about
it. Don't Google it. Just stay.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, viewers, if you don't know who Baby Gronk is, that you really do not need to. Like, it actually will probably be healthier for you to not look it up. Just go.
It's a grown adult clout chasing. That's all you got to know.
Yeah,
using his kid as fodder.
Using his kid.
All right. Well, on that note, let's move on.
Yeah. On that note, before we got to the good, the bad, and the ugly from Utah State, I felt we needed the obligatory Ashton Jeanty gush fest. So I'm gonna send it around the horn. You got Chase. I'm gonna start with you. Like, just get it all out. Gush.
Okay. I said this as we were kind of prepping, but I want to say it again. Imagine being Utah State or anyone, right? You spend a whole week, maybe even 2 weeks, because you're looking ahead, preparing to stop one guy on a specific team, Ashton Jeanty. And the first time he touches the freaking ball, he goes 64 yards for a touchdown after breaking a bunch of tackles.
No.
Like, that is demoralizing for a team. Like, we got to stop this guy. We're focused on that. And he just does what he does. I was at the game. It's the first live game in the stadium I've seen in a few years. And it was palpable whenever Jeanty was in the game. Like the crowd chanting Jeanty. Mm-hmm. At some point, I think some people started saying Heisman.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's just, and again, every time Boise State plays, you go on X or Twitter, and the love he gets from literally everyone Someone said, I wouldn't be surprised if I opened up Twitter and he had 785 yards and 12 touchdowns in one game. Like, nothing would surprise me anymore about him. It's just, again, we're out of superlatives to describe him, but it's just he is he is beloved by Boise State fans. That is obvious when you're
There's Karter again. Sorry, I got distracted.
But Chase, you are missing one superlative.
The GOAT?
That Ashton Jeanty is
inevitable. He's inevitable.
Oh, yeah,
he is Thanos. Like, Utah State tried their darndest. They were loading the box. They didn't even care that there were other football players wearing blue and orange. It's Ashton Jeanty, and he was inevitable. Touchdown after 3 total teeters, right?
Yeah,
that's right.
And however many 100 yards, he chewed them up and spat them out. Yeah, snapped his fingers and he was gone for a tutty. Like, he was inevitable. He is Thanos. And and once again, to our listeners on Spotify, if you're not watching us on YouTube, you're missing some awesome clips that were filmed by our own Chris Van Sickle, our man on the blue. And you should, finish watching the episode or listening to the episode on Spotify and then do it again on YouTube and see what you missed and just pump up that view count.
Maybe we can finally make money off of this.
Don't hold your breath.
If we get a penny or two, that could be something.
Right.
Start of a dynasty. Anyways,
Ashton Jeanty is ridiculous. And I'm not. The funniest thing I noticed, they're not even fully utilizing him yet. I mean, they're not even throwing the ball to him all that much.
Yeah.
He's got a whole separate level. Say that again?
He doesn't have a single reception this year, does he?
Maybe early in the season he has a couple.
Maybe early in the season.
I'll check that, but that sounds about right because I cannot think of a single time he caught the ball. But let's see.
Maybe has 1 or 2 screens.
Yeah, that was like one of his biggest strengths last season, and to not even have to utilize that yet, kind of keep that in your back pocket. That's huge.
So he has 6 receptions for 19 yards, and his longest was 8 yards. So even though we have thrown him the ball a little bit, it seems like Dirk has kind of taken those screens out of the offense, at least for now.
Yeah.
Yep. But just unbelievable. All those touchdowns, I'm standing on the sidelines, and all of us media guys look at each other, just laughing, just like, what is this? This is ridiculous to watch. Like, we're watching greatness unfold right before us. But yeah, Ashton Jeanty, Heisman favorite by Vegas now, I believe.
The major sports bettors.
Never thought I'd see a Boise State player the favorite for the Heisman. That's insane. So let's all just enjoy.
Yeah,
exactly. And Karter, anything else to add in this gush?
There's really nothing. What I thought maybe was impressive was that Utah State did actually stuff him a few times, and so their scheme was working. And I think that just goes to show how good Ashton Jeanty is that they were somewhat keeping him contained, and he still busted out 3 touchdowns and 180 yards. Like, they were doing the best they could, 8, 9 guys in the box. And it still sometimes didn't matter. And so him being a leader for the Heisman, I think, is fantastic. The national attention he's getting, especially from like Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco on their podcast, I thought that was amazing. All the people talking about him, I think it's great. He's really good at football.
Yeah. I just love seeing Boise State being in the national spotlight again. Not just our player, but just the program. We're back. It feels cathartic, not to use that word again, like I had the last 5 podcasts. But it really does feel like just a breath of fresh air. Love it. Which actually, that's going to be a nice segue into the good of the Utah State game. And there's a lot of good. There's a little bad, but there's a lot of good. And actually, I want to go to Chase on a point that you made in the last podcast, something that you were looking for us to do in this game is establish a run game with more than just Ashton Jeanty, and I think they were able to accomplish that. But how do you feel? What did you see?
Yeah, it wasn't just the rush game. Breezy got going. He knocked a little bit more rust off, which was good. Dylan Riley did his thing. He came in. You also saw Tyler Crow get carries, which is awesome. But outside of that, so Boise State had 599 yards of offense, and only 186 came from Jeanty. It seemed to me like the purpose of the game plan going in for Karter and company was, let's target Austin Bolt. Let's target other people besides Camper. Let's get Bolt involved. Let's get Chase Penry involved. Let's open up this offense a little bit. And from my vantage point where I was seeing, there were some beautifully schemed plays, coming those touchdowns, some different depths of these routes where these guys got themselves open. And Utah State kind of took the same page out of the book that Washington State tried the week before, where, hey, let's stack 8-9 in the box and make Madsen beat us. And there were guys open in the secondary. So it was awesome to see other people making plays and see the team kind of expand and progress outside of what Thanos brings to us.
Well, now you're just stealing my talking point.
There it is.
Because last week I called for this game to be a get-right game for the passing attack. And honestly, that's what I felt like I saw. This was a get-right game for Maddox Madsen. I agree with what Danielson said today. It was his best performance of the season by far. They spread the ball out. The wide receivers got good separation. They made those catches, even if it was slightly in traffic. It was the absolute get-right game that this passing attack needed. Utah State had to honor all aspects of this offense, and we really got to see kind of what this offense is really capable of when it's firing on all cylinders and all aspects of or all members of this offense are contributing. I think Maddox only got sacked once. He wasn't pressured that often. He got rid of the ball quickly. As far as I remember, there weren't any, there's maybe one near interception. Otherwise, it was just good, clean, on time. And he hit on some deeper passes, too. I don't know if he heard me, smack talking his deep ball, but he hit a few last week or on Saturday. And it was a thing of beauty. And I just hope it continues. We also got to see Malachi Nelson, who showed the physical gifts, but you can see where some things aren't quite in sync. Like the game is going a little bit quick for him. His first play he got sacked, obviously got stuck or sent in there on a not so great situation. But still, the game is it looks a little bit fast for him. The physical
he hit some tight windows on throws. He hit some tight windows on a couple of throws for sure.
Yeah. You said, because the physical skills, they're there. They're undeniable. So the future is bright in that position as he continues to grow and learn. But the future is now for Maddox Madsen, and he looked great. And I hope he continues that moving forward, because then the sky's the limit for this offense. But that was my big talking point. That's what I wanted to see happen. I feel like I'm still in the limelight a little bit. Chris, go ahead. Do you remember what yours was from last week?
From last week, no, I can't remember what mine was last week. This week seemed pretty easy, though. I like the special teams. I like some of the stuff they did. The kick and punt coverage, you just didn't notice it, which is exactly what you want. Now, if we could stop kicking the ball out of bounds, that'd be cool. It's a pretty large, wide field. Just keep it between the lines, but – and then you got to love seeing something like this. Dylan Riley, just the speeds. Look at him run. My goodness.
Just motoring.
And I mean, and that he's amazing and he's fast, but that return was set up perfectly. He barely got touched. The blocking on it was impeccable. So I saw some improvement. I liked it. In that same thought, Jonah Dalmas, congratulations. Mountain West all-time field goal leader now. I do have a clip of it. I thought it was longer. It's only 4 seconds. So here's a really quick clip of that field goal. I swear I thought I started it earlier, but
we saw the most important part.
That's right.
Yeah,
but it was
it's
really
good.
cool. I wasn't aware that was record was happening, and then all of a sudden I saw the ball boys like rushing the ball over, like here, save this. I'm like, well, what's happening? And oh yeah, okay, cool. But shout out to the special teams. The punt, James Ferguson Reynolds was on the sidelines, not in pads. You hate to see that, but the punt team did fine.
Yeah,
so good stuff.
Weirdly enough, when special teams was on the field, I was like, I'm not worried.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
a nice feeling.
Improvement, progress.
Yeah. Now, Karter, sorry, you missed last podcast. You go last.
That's okay. So I didn't have anything last podcast, but what I would have said is continued progress from the passing game, kind of like how you said, Evan. And I think that happened, but I also think to a certain point, my good is Dirk Cutter's play calling ability. He was able to kind of change, I'm sure the scheme was to feed Ashton Jeanty. He was able to change that scheme into, okay, let's do some play action. Let's do some medium-sized passes to really open up the field for the run. And obviously the guy's been in football forever, but I've been a little suspect of his play calling throughout kind of the season. I don't want to be called a Dirk doubter or anything like that, but I've just been suspect of it.
I've seen your Twitter feed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, but I think ultimately that was my good. Is the play calling he did? It really showed me that he is able to change up the scheme. The offense is able to function without Ashton Jeanty being the center of attention. And that was my good. It's just the offense was well rounded, and I liked it.
No, I loved it too, but that brings us to the bad. So to be honest, I only have one bad. It's not. I think it's more of a nuanced, layered bad. Unless one of you guys takes it, and I think we're probably all thinking the same thing. I'm gonna send it around the horn. Chase, what is your bad?
This one was hard because I know the go-to thing we're going to look at is the defense, the secondary especially, and I do think the DBs are a step slow, but I think a lot of that is scheme. Like something I think about is you go into a game with a game plan. I did the same thing when I coached my teams in middle school and high school. Go into the game plan, and sometimes it works out great, and sometimes not so much. Right. I also keep in mind, and this is something I keep saying, is the other team tries hard too.
Yeah.
And they have some good players. Jalen Royals is a stud.
Yeah.
That Utah State receiver. He's going to be playing on Sundays. Mm-hmm. Had 211 receiving yards. Like he had a bulk of the receptions from Petras, or however you say his name, the Utah State quarterback. On one hand, you're like, hey, this guy's going to get his, so let's focus on not letting anybody else beat us. At the same time, you kind of want to limit a team, so the game plan didn't work out. I guess that's my bad, the defensive game plan.
Well, so you kind of touched on that, and I guess I'll piggyback and I'll try and bounce it around to you guys, because my bad, but also like I want to be a little bit nuanced with this, is the secondary, because yes, they allowed however many passing yards, and they got gashed a little bit in the secondary. Now, granted, some of that was against our second team or third string defense, like when the game was already out of hand. So they kind of ran up the score a little bit. Sure. Now they did get, with the starters, they did get beat up a little bit. And I guess the nuance here is that despite the yardage, they gave up a ton of yards. They only gave up 17 points in the first half. And then that's when they kind of let up on the gas pedal a little bit. And the third quarter happened. They scored a bunch, fourth quarter, and they brought it back up. So that's great. But in the first half, 17 points allowed, which brings me to the next point. Yeah, we're one of the worst in the nation in total yardage allowed, but we're the number one red zone defense per Mike Prater in the country. So I don't want to say bend but don't break because they're blitzing a lot more off with a lot more frequency. And when we do bring pressure, it worked. But like it's still kind of bend but don't break. We're allowing a ton of yardage, really trying to mitigate. So it's kind of this weird, like, yeah, it's a problem. But we found a way to at least minimize the damage. It's could our secondary be better? Absolutely. It's kind of definitely choosing my words carefully here because I don't want to be overly critical. But I think definitely a little bit of nuance to how the secondary has performed. I'll toss it out to either Karter. You look like jumping up to this.
Oh yeah. Mine. Since it was going to be secondary, just because I don't like seeing them get burnt and get juked out of their shoes like one of them did. But if I had to pick another one, it would be the defensive line. There wasn't a lot of push that we've kind of come to expect from that line. I believe we only got 1 sack, maybe 2. Their running back went over 100 yards rushing, and it just seemed like a down day for the defensive line as a whole. So that would be technically my bad, but that's kind of grasping at straws. I just expect more out of them, and it seemed like they started fast and then just kind of settled into idle mode, let some runs go for 4 or 5 yards when it could have been 2 or 3. But all in all, they still performed good. Just kind of wished it was a little better.
Yeah, and just to go back to that point on the secondary, and to further jump on Chase's point about scheme, the weird thing, where I want to go with this is like the nuance of this argument is that our best performances as a defense, as a secondary, have been against the two most challenging offenses on the schedule, Oregon and Washington State. They schemed perfectly for those games. Now, Oregon, you can't scheme for giving up 14 points on special teams, but they got 7 sacks on Mateer. They brought pressure. They were creative with it, and the secondary held. Like, they are capable of doing so. It's, again, in the second half when they stop bringing as much pressure, when they're not, I don't want to say they're letting off the gas pedal, but it certainly feels that way. And they sit back in their base defense. They just let the offense march their way to the 20, and that's when they decide, we got to tighten up here. And that's what makes it feel like a bend but don't break defense when it's really not. But still, it's something I just wish they would play a little bit better between the 20s. But that's me talking. That's just my opinion on the secondary. Chris, are you frozen? Uh-oh.
Looks like he might be.
We have him. Chris, are you there?
I'm here. Hey, yeah. Can y'all hear me?
Oh, God.
He sounds like T-Pain.
Yeah, that sounded like a bad T-Pain.
T-Pain before the auto-tune got updated.
Yeah, somebody else just talked.
Okay. Well, we're going to assume that Chris, or actually Karter, you want to go ahead?
I mean, I already said what I was going to say about the D-line, but I'm not sure. Chris looks back.
I'm back. Sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on with my Wi-Fi. So my bad on that, and my bad on the game was kind of letting off the gas there. We did. Secondary was rough. Chenander in his presser today said that there was multiple miscommunications, and that just left some open receivers. So work on that. But letting off the gas, you talk about running up the score and trying to look good, and we need to look good. I mean, we need it to be 62-17, not 62-30. We're either on at 8:00 at night or we're on FS2.
Yeah.
The people that are voting aren't staying up to watch us. Go ahead, Karter.
Is there a hand up button?
There is. I don't know where it is, but there is.
Okay. By the way, you talked about the kickoff time. I hate 5 p.m. kickoffs. That game. Evan, you said at the beginning, I was like, oh, I bet the energy was good. I thought the energy was weird. It just had a weird vibe to me. I don't know if anybody else felt that, but I do not like 5 p.m. kicks. Either make it noon, 1 p.m., or make it 7 o'clock so we can have the lights. You just brought that up. That made me remind that I don't like 5 p.m. kickoffs. I thought they sucked.
Okay.
I am always down for a hashtag Karter rant.
Well, Karter, you're going to get your wish this week because the game starts at 9 p.m. So.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm going to need to take a nap beforehand.
Yeah.
Anyways, we need to look good. We are all of a sudden in the middle of this. I mean, I saw one projection where we could end up higher ranked than the Big 12 champion, and we could have a bye in the playoff. What are we talking about? We need to look good. Yeah. So letting off the gas a little bit was unfortunate. I understand, and I'm all about getting the young players some time, and saving Ashton Jeanty. I hope he only plays one half every game, and we win by that much every time. But we need to look good. 9 o'clock Mountain Time kickoff. That's 11 o'clock where a lot of the voters live. So they're going to wake up Sunday morning. They're going to look at the score. They might look at the box score, maybe. And that's the only thought they're going to give us. And so we need to look good.
And I think that takes us to our final segment of the podcast, which, unless there's anything else to touch on, no, nothing. No, Evan, your points about the secondary were just amazing, like Pulitzer Award. No, okay.
It was good stuff.
I thought it was good.
They were great.
I don't even know if they give Pulitzers for podcasts, but
might now.
We deserve them. All right, so our final segment, viewers, is my ego. No, it's Hawaii. It's the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors, a game that
they're not the Rainbow Warriors anymore. They're just the Warriors.
What?
Am I wrong? I thought they got rid of the rainbow.
Why would they get rid of the rainbow? I don't believe you.
Sometimes they wear the throwback unis. You can see.
You don't know why?
Warriors.
Don't you?
I
mean, Google still has it.
Okay, I'm wrong then.
Yeah, it's Hawaii Athletics official football page for the Rainbow Warriors.
Okay, good. I'm happy for him.
Oh,
I like that.
That's one of the coolest names in college football.
Yep.
But anyways, the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors, as my wife makes another cameo. What do you want to see out of Boise State in this game? Now, just to get started, I am not really worried about us winning this game. It's more focused on, for me, offense continuing what it's doing. Ashton Jeanty's going to do Ashton Jeanty things. I want to see the passing game continue to do this thing. This is a get-right game for the secondary, in my mind. Time to really show that not only can you clamp down, but you can do it for 4 quarters. Even with a big lead, we don't let up. But that's enough of me talking. Chase, I'm going to send it to you.
All right. So Boise State has won the last 9 meetings against Hawaii. The last time they played was actually 4 years ago, the 2020 season, November 21st. And that was that weird, funky game where they had that one unknown receiver just go off. I don't even remember his name. And then the year before that, we beat them twice, if you remember that, in the regular season. And then in the Mountain West Championship game.
Yep.
Last time was in Hawaii when we beat them in 2020. For me, I want to see the team. I don't want to call them distractions, right? But you're playing on the islands. It's funky. You got to fly all across the ocean. Your equipment's different because you can't drive a truck across the ocean, right? Weird things happen on the islands. Okay. Boise State has not played this iteration of Hawaii with Timmy Chang in control. He's building something a little bit. They're at least not doormats at the moment. I just want to see Boise State. I teach at a high school, as I've talked about, and our cross-country coach, I talked to him quite a bit, and he says what's great about cross-country is you're competing against yourself. You're trying to better the time from the last time you raced. So in a way, that's what I want to see from Boise State. You're competing against yourself. It doesn't matter what color the helmets and jerseys are, the team across from you. You want to be better than you were the day before, the game before. I want to see Boise continue to do that, even in a funky situation like it always is playing on the islands.
Ooh, I like that. Not gonna lie, that is a game I would travel to. Like, I'd definitely travel to Honolulu.
Oh yeah.
If I have to, I mean, come on.
Really be
paying your way there, Chris? Let's go.
Laramie or Honolulu? I don't know.
Hard choice.
Ooh, yeah. In 2 years' time, if they're still on the schedule, then like Bronco Country Roundup podcast on location.
On the beach.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. On the beach, Honolulu. Ooh. Sign me up. But Chris, go ahead. What do you want to see?
I want to see the defense cause pressure. They have a pretty darn good quarterback named Braden Schrager. He's a gunslinger.
Isn't he a transfer?
Nope. He entered the transfer portal, then came back. Am I wrong? Anybody?
Oh, okay.
I think you're right.
Yeah. He came back. Anyways, yes, he's talented. He's a gunslinger. He's gonna take some risks, get some pressure on him. I think with that pressure will come turnovers. They kind of go hand in hand there. So a lot of people are pointing to, there you go, Shea Oladipo.
Shea owes me a pick.
Yeah, he does. But get some pressure and the turnovers will come. Just be patient.
All right, and Karter, round us off.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of numbers coming your way, so I hope everybody listens.
I'm an English teacher. I can't do numbers. Sorry.
All right, Chase isn't going to get it. That's okay. Basically, what's kind of been said is that I want the offense to be what it was with Utah State, just kind of do their thing and roll with it. But I also agree with Chase is that weird things happen on the islands, and weird things happen with the Hawaii football team because they are currently 2-3. They blew out Delaware State, an FCS school. Then they lost to UCLA by 3.
Close game.
They go to Sam Houston, get blown out 31-13. Get FCS school in Honolulu. They beat them 36-7. Then they just lost to San Diego State by 3. So 6 points separates them from a 4-1 record, if I'm doing that right. 6 points, 2 field goals. And if you look at the Hawaii defense, that's what I think people aren't really looking at. They're number 67 in the country on third down defense. They're number 25. They're tied for number 25 in fewest first downs. They're tied for number 12 in tackles for loss. Boise State is at 8. So basically the same tackles for loss as Boise State. They're number 28 in total defense. Now, if you kind of have to take this all into perspective, how good is UCLA? How good is Delaware State? How good is Northern Iowa? This is FCS and some close losses. So that could kind of skew things. But I just want the team to win. That's what I want. I want a convincing win because it's in Honolulu. It's late at night. It could be some sort of Pac-12 after dark thing where all of a sudden this Hawaii defense shows why they're the number 28 defense in the country. And I don't want to say upset alert, but I don't think we should look at this as an automatic win. I want to win. That should be the goal. Offense rolls. Do what Chris said. Defense kind of picks it up a little bit, and we just roll them over. Because if we come into this soft, Hawaii seems to be a team that can make it closer than it needs to be.
And honestly, I've got faith again in our coaching staff that they're not going to take Hawaii lightly. And that feels really good to say. I think Coach Danielson is going to have the boys ready to go and fired up about this football game. But without further ado, that brings us to the end, unless anyone else has any final thoughts for us. Karter, do you have a rant? Is there something grinding your gears a little bit that you just need to get out?
No, my big thing was the 5 p.m. kickoffs. That pissed me off. The sun was in my eyes. It was hot, but it wasn't. I don't know. It felt like everybody was kind of tired from dinner almost. The energy just wasn't there.
I will say that they did like the LED like flash thing, but it was still right outside. That was a little
it
weird.
didn't work. They did it like 5 times.
Yeah, it was.
I was like, we get the lights thing. I don't know. It was just a weird game. I
will say, and it's kind of a good rant here. I haven't been in the stadium in years. That sound system they've installed, shout out our boy Jeremiah Dickey.
Yep.
It sounded like a concert.
Yeah.
Feel the bass vibrating the stadium. Like it was money. It was awesome.
Okay.
Yep,
well then, ladies and gentlemen, viewers from around the world, please stick around for the sights and sounds of Albertson Stadium. But for now, we will say good night. Go Broncos. Adios.